Coming to you from the Strings and Things studio in Ventura, California, and then our satellite office in Fillmore, California. This is the Unraveled podcast.
All right.
It's fun to be with you.
I've been looking forward to this all day.
I've had a long week and I was exhausted around 3, and then I started to think about what we were going to do tonight, and I got completely energized.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
How
you doing?
Yeah, so I was looking to see what our episode number is, and I forgot to look. So I think it's 22?
That sounds right.
Something like that.
Yeah, we've been doing it almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
We didn't do it immediately right away.
Yeah. Anyway, who wants to start with what they're working on?
I'd be happy to.
Go for it.
So, I've been practicing this line all week.
Oh.
So on Sunday, I did not start on Sleeve Island. I started in a sleeve archipelago.
Okay.
I had 4 sleeves I wanted to work on and finish. I am very close to that. So I finally picked up my son's Simpler Sinister sweater. And like, seriously, I've been talking about that for months, that I'm supposed to be working on it and gonna get serious about it. And
I was thinking about that today. Thought about that sweater because I think I saw it on Ravelry, and I thought, I wonder how Anne's sweater's going.
Well, it's, he's a big guy. He's 6 foot something, at least he's 6'2", and big chest. So I'm doing the 14th size. It's a 56-inch chest. It's not super tiny stitches. It's 20 stitches to 4 inches. So here's the Kaity. I mean, that's been long done. And the ribbing.
Nice.
Woo-hoo!
So I had, I thought I had 7 inches to go, but it turns out that I only had about 6.5 or 5.5 before. And I was like, man, I could have probably stopped at 4. And he says, oh, no. I like it long.
Yeah.
Oh, good answer. So you'll see that there's no sleeves here, but I claim to be close on this goal of sleeve finish.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing the thing. I'm doing.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Bottom up sleeve or a top down sweater. I feel very confident in my grafting skills because the other one turned out well. The problem was that my sleeve was too long and I already grafted and moved in all my ends. So I'm going to have to do surgery from the cuff, and that's not been very exciting. So this time I had him try on the sweater, and I positioned where the sleeve unrolled to and then measured on his arm with a little bend where the sleeve should end. So
Nice.
that's one. And
Cool.
this one is more than halfway.
Oh, yeah, you're almost done.
Yeah. So I had hopes, but I, went to bed too early one night.
I'm surprised you're not doing 2 sleeves on 2 circulars.
I don't like that. It surprises people that I don't like that because I am about the fastest, sturdiest way. But
Sleeves are different. Socks have a shorter end date. Sleeves just go on.
I don't like socks or sleeves too at a time. It's too fussy for me.
You'd be like on 2 different sleeve islands.
It's too fussy. Like managing the balls, flipping around.
It's almost faster just to knit 2 separate sleeves for me.
Totally. So then
less
the
hassle.
other thing is the other sleeves go to my second scrapper Cardi, which is by Her Cuteness, whose screen name is Drunk Knitter, and I should really learn her real name.
I'm wearing her t-shirt right now, but I can't really show you without undressing. When it's not that kind of podcast.
But we can make this anything we want, Karin.
I won't go there.
This is the yoke of my second one. And this takes a lot of, it doesn't take a lot of carefulness, but it does, for me, it takes some planning because I want it all to work out and use every inch of the yarn. So here is sleeve number 1. This has a pretty deep yoke. I usually need to
that's nice.
make my sleeves really, really, really long. And these sleeves have to be adjusted longer than the pattern calls for. So that's the first sleeve, and the second sleeve got buried under Simpler Sinister. This is the second.
I could see that when you're doing a fade of sorts, going from the cuff up may give you a little better control.
I had this little bit, so I undid my yarn from designing for the Yarn Over truck, and I had this little bit left, and I wanted to make sure I used all of it.
Mm-hmm.
The cuff up had to happen because this was where this landed in the color. I like seeing it on the screen though, because I can see like a
Your
different,
reds are really showing up nicely.
yeah. So I'm really happy with the blending. And then the third thing I'm working on, because it always comes in threes,
Mm-hmm.
is the first time I've really done a mystery knit along in a very long time. I'm doing the Lunar Fade by Larissa Brown. One of our knitters, Donna Timlin, told me about it, and it didn't take like any convincing, and I was in. So you choose 4 colors. I think I showed you my yarn last time. I hadn't started yet.
Pretty.
This I'm not that happy about because I read the description after I purchased my yarn already.
Yeah.
It looks just a little stronger. It's not too bad. It's very subtle. There's 4 colors. A contrast, which is D. So this is A and D together. This is A and B. And then C finally makes an appearance up here. It's okay, but it's really fun pattern. So I've ordered some other yarn that's kind of boring that will show the pattern really well, but it's like lost in shipment land. So it was supposed to arrive yesterday, and then it's been saying all day it would arrive today, and there's nothing when I got home. But it is for 9 o'clock tonight, so that's still 2 hours off. So maybe I'll see it when I get home from this. Those are the things I'm working on. Who's next?
I will go. I am currently knitting on a pair of shorts.
Those look cute.
So these are my
I love
Riplet shorts.
Riplet.
I put down my leggings that I was working on to cast down shorts instead. So all I'm working on are leggings and shorts right now.
For seasonally appropriate shorts.
Yes, because I was like, oh, these look fun, and I might actually get to wear them because it's been hot in Fillmore.
Yeah.
It's been hot in Ventura, no less.
I know. So I used some sock yarn from my stash. It's a Knit Picks something speckled. I don't remember the name of it, but there's the top of them with their little drawstring. So there's those, and then pardon me while I dig out from this bag somewhere in the depths my leggings, because I haven't touched them in a couple weeks. But that's there's the front. That's the front. Can you see those?
Oh, those are nice.
And then you can see them. So those are my leggings.
Oh man.
Will you go purple the whole way, or will you stripe that whole kind of thing?
I had 3 balls of the whimsical wood fiber in her various ass colorways.
Yes.
I'm using. So I'm double stranding sock yarn, and I'm using those 3 as like the base. So it goes from the darkest purple, and now I'm in, hang on. This is my second one.
Oh yeah. I forgot you had them on those spools.
The third one is this one. So this one's a little bit lighter.
Oh yeah.
But I'm using the same purples over and over as my second color to blend them all. So
those will go the whole way, and it's just other purples.
Kind of mixed throughout. I wanted to start with the light at the top and work down to the bottom, but then I realized it was a bad idea to put a light color on my butt. Number 1, just for flattering, and number 2, because it would probably get dirty if I sit on something. So
fair point.
I went the other direction. And that is all I'm really working on. I haven't been knitting a whole lot lately, which is weird because I have time, but I've been doing other stuff. So no, not a whole lot of knitting.
How do you like those things? Those little spoolies.
I like them fine. I like winding the yarn with the drill. This is called it's called the Winderful is the brand. I got it for my birthday. But you basically put like an attachment on your drill that this sits on, and then it spins when you turn your drill on, right? So winding is super fast and easy. Knitting with the things is fine. You know, it's not as easy as just like a ball of yarn because it's like squishy, doesn't take up a lot of room. This kind of like clangs around when you're knitting with it. And the other thing is you can't pull from the inside. Like you only have access to one end. So it's fine if you're gonna, like if you want to wind something up real quick because it doesn't take any effort. But the actual knitting from the spools is not my favorite. But I still like it. It's fine.
Center puller, but I like the freedom to have access to both ends.
Yeah, I want to be able to, like if I, on the short or on the leggings, if I want to do both of the same color for a while, I would have to wind some off and it would be a whole thing.
Yep.
But that's all that I am working on.
Leggings are a pretty big project.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really
it's a full sweater and then some.
Yeah.
Right.
I was talking to my mom about my sweater a month goals and how that's kind of like flown itself out the window in recent time. But I was like, if I finish the leggings, that would count as a sweater, like for April. But I didn't finish them in April, and I'm not that upset about it. So, oh well.
It was a loose thing, right?
You know, we can't predict what the world was gonna get all crazy. You know, it's
Well, if you could predict it and you sat on it.
Yeah, I'm Nostradamus.
Yeah. Quiet Katie over there.
I did finish something else in the meantime, but that's for the next segment. So, Karin, what are you working on?
Well, I only have my one thing with me, and I'll show that in a minute. I am on Sleeve Island finishing up a couple of projects from previous. And Mema was like, 6 months ago, and I'd forgotten about it and doing everything. And I'm just doing sleeves on that one. I'm almost done with one. I finished one sleeve. Mema was a really pink one.
Oh.
It had like the honeycombish pattern. And I finished all of Grams Revised except for one sleeve. But that actually went together pretty well because I was motivated to get that done. Actually, I've got a third thing that I'm on Sleeve Island, and that is, can't think of the name of it. It's the one that was blue with the purple and the white.
Oh,
it's Beats and Bones. Beats and Bones.
All right.
By Gigi Alagon. But what I'm working on, and I'm almost done with the body of my sorrel. I do a lot of sweaters. I get really focused on the body because it gets going, and then and she's coming out with the same designers are coming out next month with June 1st, as a matter of fact, with a summer weight sorrel. So yeah. So it's still got a fade. It's not in cotton, it's fingering weight, but it's a little bit different. They have changed up a little bit of it, how things are done. So that's in test knitting right now, not by me. Actually did not get into that one, bummer. But I am working on the leaf yoke sweater, which, when I started this, it was nice and cold, and it seemed like a great idea.
Oh yeah,
sweater. Okay, I am disappointed with the color, because Peach Stone looked in their picture has a little more peach to it. In reality, it's really just beige, and I wasn't thinking a peach stone is a peach pit.
But that's not very poetic. Here's your color, peach pit.
That's right. I bet it's really fun. It's all double, like front post double crochets and a really cool lacy leaf pattern.
It's very pretty.
Two rounds back and forth where you go around, then you go back and forth, kind of rows, but kind of rounds. And now I just started, I was a lot farther than I found that I made a mistake on the last row. I just started the ribbing that is it's attached as you go. I'm used to crochet ribbing being front post, back post, but that's not this. This is all half double crochet through the front third loop.
I've done that on like a hat brim before.
Same.
Yeah. And I had gotten like a third of the way, and then I realized that the patterning changed on the bottom, that somehow I had stopped with the patterning, switched to the crossing stitches, and then went back to the patterning, thus proving I should not be doing this after midnight.
Yeah, it's probably a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, but I do love the yarn. It's linen quill, but in the worsted from Pearl Soho. So, and then I was crocheting a basket with fabric that I'd cut into long strips.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, working with cotton fabric as yarn is kind of hard on the hands. But
Yeah.
then when I went to this and it was so soft and squishy, it's like a spa therapy for my fingers. So
Yeah,
that's all.
we've all been handling a lot of cotton lately, and my hands have been needing
Start
some.
feeling it. I feel like I've got claw fingers.
Yeah, my nails are wrecked. I was trying to grow them out, and then I just had to give up and clip them all back.
Well, you're not alone. After everything goes back to normal, manis and petties are going to be the thing.
That's why I'm glad I taught myself to do it myself so that can keep up with it as best as I can.
Yep.
I also cut my own hair, so
Turned out great. I almost like drove in front of the hair. I don't like really have a hairdresser, but I have a guy I went to twice in a row now.
that's your hairdresser.
That's your
what I'm
hairdresser.
committed to.
The salon he was at on Main Street closed like, months ago.
Mhm.
And I didn't know where he'd gone, so I almost like drove up on the sidewalk to like stop and say, hey, where are you now?
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Well, I had an appointment on April, mid-April, and then I had it earlier than back in March, and I had to postpone it to April, thinking that we'd be ready to go out and about. But I'm not canceling. I'm just postponing because I want my
We're gonna
spot.
get back in.
I want my spot. If I wait, I'm gonna have to wait even longer, like you said,
Yeah.
to get in. So it's like holding my spot.
So has anybody finished anything good?
I have finished
Anything bad?
bad. Not this time.
Nice.
No, nothing bad. I have finished that which I was working on last time, probably. My first scrapper cardie.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those colors.
Oh,
That's a great sweater.
calling it my Kevin Bacon sweater because I had our yarn
Yep.
and I had a honey girl to go with it. And I had this black cat fibers that was called Lucifer.
So how many degrees did it separate?
Yeah. And it really only took 3 to get them all to coordinate and have enough yardage. I did need to use up our last purchasable DK because I needed more of the body.
Yeah.
It would have ended like up here, somewhere here. So I'm so happy with it. And then that means that our color was a lot more prominent.
Yeah. Much more featured.
So much. So this sweater fits great. I adore it. I'm just changing the sleeves a little bit on this next go. And one of the reasons that I was so motivated to pick up Simpler Sinister again is, so I'm going to make that red one I showed you, but I have some yarn.
What did you say it's called?
Scrapper cardie is what I'm working on.
Oh, I thought you said something sinister.
That's the cat sweater.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
One of the reasons I picked that up is that I want the leftover green because I'm also going to make a green scrapper cardie. So,
well, that's actually a good plan. It's like it's a good motivator to finish one project so you can have the leftover yarn.
Yep. So that is the one knitting project I finish. I am also not knitting a lot.
It's more than I finished.
It's a big sweater, so
yeah.
I'm either sleeping or staying up real late working on math.
Yep. Yeah, I have finished a lot of math.
Oh my goodness, so many.
But, I knit and finished because I wanted something quick and easy. I made a tank, like crop top tank for my niece.
That's so cute.
She is 4, soon to be 5. And I thought it was going to be like almost more like a crop, but I saw a picture of her wearing it today and it was like a full-on tank top. So it's not actually cropped, but that's the picture that I don't have it.
But she'll grow into it, and as she grows, it'll become a crop tank.
Yeah, it's very stretchy, so she will be able to wear it for a while. But the pattern is My Little Secret Crop by Jessie Martinson. which I was knitting for myself. I think last time we recorded, I was working on that. That has gone by the wayside. I haven't touched that. But I started a tiny one for my niece. So I made the smallest size, which was an extra small, because it's only in adult sizes. So I made the smallest size, and I went down a couple needle sizes and just kind of went for it.
Nice.
It turned out really cute, and it fits her. So, because when it came off the needles, it was like this big. And I held it up to my mom to show her. I was like, do you think that Amron will fit in this? And she was like, I was like, it's stretchy, it's fine. But it does fit her, so that's good.
That's like when you're working on something, and sometimes people have walked by my work with the big table and said, oh, is that for your daughter?
Yeah.
No.
It stretches.
Yeah.
A lot.
When something's on the needle, it's hard to, or freshly off.
Yeah.
But this doesn't look like it's going to fit over my butt, but I assume it will.
I trust that it will.
Very
First of all, trust the pattern source. Second, it's ribbing.
It's
Yeah,
ribbing.
So that's all I finished.
That's what we finished. What have you finished, Karin?
Okay, so I was wrong about being on Sleeve Island with Gramps Revised because I realized I blocked it.
You're done.
I was going to say,
like,
I swore I saw a picture of it blocked with 2 sleeves.
Yeah, I did block it.
Yeah.
I blocked it, and I finished Scotch Broom, which is a really cute. It's meant to be cropped, but you can easily adjust it. If you're familiar with, it's a knit pattern, but it mimics. It's a stitch that has been engineered from crochet to knit. Really fun to do. It's just two pieces for the top to the armhole, and then you join them and go around to the bottom and do ribbing. Done. All you have is 2 short sleeves at the shoulder.
I gotta make one of those. I love that pattern.
No finishing because it's all finished. I mean, the sleeves get finished as you go. You don't have to pick up any stitches because it's top down. And it starts with an I-cord cast on, so it has a really nice neckline. And the neck can be as wide or as narrow as you want because it's all in how you seam it.
Is it
And
fingering weight?
Huh?
It's fingering weight?
Fingering. Mm-hmm. And I did it with the linen quill.
Nice.
Fingering. In a nice warm. I didn't see that.
You didn't see me drop my cookie?
I did. I think we all did.
I'm gonna go pick it up off the floor. Keep talking.
Okay. I finished a mini quilt because I was thinking I was rushing to get this stuff done because I thought class samples, and they will be. So hey, when we have classes,
You're gonna
other
be
type
prepared.
of class, I am going to be so prepared.
The trainer said days, not weeks today. I didn't get to listen to what does that really mean? Like, is it 28 days? Is it 14 days?
It's less than a month. So, I mean, I guess that counts.
Well, I didn't hear what days it was.
Yeah. But that I'm trying to think what else. Working on, and masks forever.
Yep.
For whatever reason, my first set of masks took me weeks and weeks to finish because I'd start off with, and I didn't have this material or that material. And it's because of doing it with the studio that I'm like cranking that one out.
Yeah.
It should not take so long to do this. So, hey, that's all that's done.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a couple sweaters, so.
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about what our topic for today was going to be, and I thought we would try and stick with something kind of light and fun because this idea sounded fun to me. Also, if you are stuck at home like everybody else, you might be listening to this in the future and being able to go outside, and I'm very jealous of you. So if you're able to go eat dinner at a restaurant and go to a movie, I hope you appreciate it.
Movies. What is this word movies that you say?
I don't hardly even remember.
My movies come out of a tiny little box.
Yeah. But if you are stuck at home still, if you're listening to this, relatively soon after we release it, we figured maybe you could use some movie suggestions. So we're going to talk about our favorite movies of all time. I think we each came up with at least 3, our top 3 favorites. We might have a couple honorable mentions. I have a list of 10, but I'm not going to go through all of them. But
question: does a series count as one?
A series is not a
They're
movie.
all part of one continuous story arc.
Oh,
Oh,
I
like,
chose one movie to represent a series.
Okay, good to know.
not do that.
Huh?
I did not do any movie series. Huh.
Okay then. So we can do 5. Do you guys each have 5? We could do 3.
I do have
Okay.
5, but I have a sneaking suspicion that there's gonna be overlap somewhere.
That's true. So let's start with number 5 then.
I love the movie Hidden Figures.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, and where?
It's brilliant women showing. It's science. It's empowerment. You know,
That's a good movie.
it's also history. So I love Hidden Figures.
I only saw that once, but I should see it again because I remember really, really liking it when I saw it the first time. And Janelle Monáe is in it, and she is so cool. I love her, and she's really good in it. So now I want to watch it again.
The whole cast was killer.
Such a strong cast.
Mhm.
I mean, so many women in that cast are strong, and even some of the men, though you kind of didn't like them, they were so good at what they did at making you not like them.
Yeah, that is a good
Representing
movie.
their time.
Is it Kevin Costner? He's the dude in that?
Yeah.
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 I like
Okay, so I forgot about him. So I like the movie except for him. But I mean, because he's just sort of, I know he's local to Ventura, but he's just sort of meh. All his movies are his acting to me is sort of one note.
I'm not a big fan of his, but I'd have to say that Hidden Figures, he actually like.
Yeah. I think he
Okay,
kind of came out, he kind of broke his mold a little bit there.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
A lot of actors are just like showing up to do themselves in a situation.
Like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Kevin Costner I feel like he's one of those actors that's really good when he tries, but most of the time he's just kind of being Kevin Costner, you know?
Yeah.
My 5th position is The Shining.
Nice.
My first like serious horror movie that I watched. We'd go to one girl invited every kid to her birthday party, all the boys and girls, and then all the girls got to stay for a sleepover.
Uh-huh.
And her parents let her rent one, fun teeny bopper movie and one rated R movie.
Ooh.
One year she rented Candyman and The Shining, and we watched those both on the same night.
That's a lot.
Candyman is just not as good of a movie, but it did make me scream out loud.
Yeah.
But The Shining is a real piece of work, and everybody's performance is intense in that, and it's such a terrifying premise. I like the mini-series one too, but I mean,
I was gonna say, have you seen the miniseries one?
yeah, I'm gonna read it too. I bought the book recently, and I'm gonna read it soon.
That would be an interesting book for the book thing because I've never read it.
I haven't
And
read it.
and I like psychological thriller. See, it's horror, but it's also psychological thriller.
Well, see, I think most Stephen King books are not pure. They're rarely pure horror. They're more like looking at the psyche and
They're messing with your brain.
I've never read any Stephen King, so I would be into that.
I haven't read a lot. Like I read Dolores Claiborne and a couple other things when I was a kid. And
what was that movie? What was the movie with Kathy Bates where she was the crazy nurse?
Oh, Misery. I just watched that the other night.
That would be a good. Was that Stephen King?
uh-huh.
That would be a good book to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put The Shining in my pot.
It's a big book.
It's not of his books though. It's bite size.
Okay.
It's like 300 or 400 pages. I read the book that he and his son wrote together last year, and it like literally took me a year, which is a little embarrassing. But there was no time limit, and it was very long.
Yeah.
He's funny to listen to, though. I almost think he's more interesting just to talk to as a writer. Or his book on writing is one of my favorite books.
Right.
The Shining is in number 5. You can rent or buy it on Amazon.
Nice. I wanted to, before we go farther, because we should have done this at the beginning, I wanted to talk about like how we chose our favorite movies. Like if you're I was thinking about like, I didn't necessarily choose movies that like I like that I think are the best movies. It's just that they like mean something to me, or I really like it for whatever reason, or it was like important at a certain time of your life that it like makes an impact on you, you know? So yeah, I was trying to think of like, especially like ranking them. I came up with like, I just threw movies on my list, and then I was like, well, how am I gonna like sort these out. That was a hard part for me, but
Oh, it's how I rate my children. You know,
yeah, tomorrow it could be completely different.
I
changing.
I went through my Amazon list of digital movies that I actually liked enough to buy. And that after buying them, I wanted to still see them again and again.
I stood in front of our wall of DVDs and looked around for a while.
So finding the movies. Go ahead.
It's okay. You go.
Finding going with the movies that you know you've seen over and over, but you still want to see them, even though you know the lines, you know what's coming up. Nothing's ruined.
These are all movies that I could watch
every bit of it
anytime.
So I could come in at any point in any of these movies and be entertained.
Yep.
Watch them innumerable times, which truly on 2 of them I have, maybe 3 of them I have watched innumerable times. I couldn't even guess how many times I've seen them.
I think all but number 5 I've watched over and over again.
Yeah, these are all movies that I could watch. Anybody could be like, you want to watch this? And any time I'd be like, yes I do. Yes I do want to watch that.
The answer would always be yes.
Yep.
There's some, like, there were movies I considered for the list, but it's like there have been times that they've come on and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, you got to be up for it whenever.
Yeah. All right, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is True Grit, the recent one, the Coen Brothers version.
Oh,
good.
Number 1 because I love Jeff Bridges. Number 2, the original one with John Wayne is like, I know it's a classic. Sure. The recent one is like almost word for word from the book, and if you haven't read the book you should, because it's like this big, like it'll take you no time, and it's really good.
Writing that down.
I couldn't tell you who wrote it because I don't remember, but
I want to say it's Louis L'Amour, but just because he's like a popular
Western style writer.
I don't know. I could Google it. I have my phone in front of me, but the girl in it, Haley Steinfeld, is so good, and she's somewhat local to us. I think she's from Thousand Oaks or something.
Oh,
I remember reading that as a fun fact when the movie came out, but she's really, really great in it, and Matt Damon is in it, and he's hilarious. It's one of those, if you like a Coen Brothers movie, this is like one of the most palatable Coen Brothers. I have 2 Coen Brothers movies on my list, but it's like funny without being too like over the top, and it's also like not trying to be funny. Like the characters and just like the way they interact are really, it's very entertaining.
That's like God, what was that? I mean, maybe
what other movies would be the Coen Brothers?
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
I love that one.
I'm not gonna say another one because it's my number 1 favorite movie. But
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
All right, number 4.
Okay.
Who?
You.
Me? Number 4 is Metropolis by Fritz Lang. It's a silent film, and it's been made several times. The original silent film, my favorite version, is where the film has been digitally cleaned up, and they put modern music to it. But it's still a silent film where you get the words. There's not dialogue. I kind of have a very my list is all like kind of dystopian, post-apocalyptic kind of,
Yeah.
I have a theme. It's my thing. But I love the visual representation that happens with Fritz Lang. I even have an old DVD of it that's, we got like 30 years ago when DVDs were new. Because it's not something you get very often. But I know they did a remake, but I really think you got to watch the one by Fritz Lang because it's his original vision. And when you're watching a silent film, the visual has to tell the story because you don't get much dialogue even in writing.
Yeah.
So it's really, really good.
All right, my number 4 is Young Frankenstein.
I was just talking to my dad about that movie today, and we were like, we should watch Young Frankenstein today.
Anytime.
Fräulein, what's your name?
Blucher. Good setup.
That's such a good movie.
It's so good. Hey, if you ever get a chance to see the musical of what?
Abby Normal.
Abby Normal. If you ever get to see the musical of that, it's just as entertaining. High Street Center for the Arts did it a few years ago. But I'm sure it's around other places.
That movie is perfect at any point.
Yeah.
Everybody in there. I mean, Cloris Leachman
I love her. She's so funny in that movie.
is. She better be protected right now.
I think there's Terry Garr. When everyone was so young, Gene Wilder.
And I don't
I
love
know that.
everything Gene Wilder did, but oh, he shines so in this movie. I
It's
love
so good.
that movie.
Well, the guy with the eyes, his name was Marty Feldman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Igor.
love it, love it, love it, love it.
Igor.
We quote that movie a lot
The hump.
around my house.
It's like, nope.
Yeah, it's a winner.
It's really good.
Okay, number 4 for Katie.
My number 4 is the movie that represents the whole series. So mine is The Force Awakens, and that's going to represent my love of Star Wars. Because it was hard to pick one Star Wars movie, but
I didn't pick one.
I
picked
will
the whole series.
Yeah, I will defend why I chose The Force Awakens, because when I saw the original trilogy, I was a little bit older, like I was like a teenager, like it wasn't a movie that I grew up with as a kid or anything. But I got really, really into it when James and I first started dating, and then we watched them all the time. Like we'd seen them all. But then when the new movies were coming out, whenever 2000 and whatever year it was that those came out.
Yeah, the remastered ones.
99 for episode 1.
Those I'm not counting those.
Because I'm willing to agree with 3/9 of your choice.
Yeah.
I'm not counting from 99 either.
No. Whenever the new trilogy came out, that was like, I was telling James, it's like, I wish I was a kid back in like in 1977 or whatever, who didn't know that Darth Vader was Luke's father. Like, I want to experience that. I wanted to be. So when the new movies came out, I was like, I'm not watching any trailers. I'm not going to look at any promotions. I don't want to know absolutely anything about these movies. And that was like the most fun movie experience, like going to the movies I ever had, was going to see Force Awakens, like completely blind, not knowing anything. It was so great.
I can really appreciate that, because that is how I felt in 1999. Even if 1 through 3 is, because that was that excitement. Because I'm a kid whose older brother and sister were old enough to see it in the theater. Karin might have been wanting to say she got to see it in the theater.
Star Wars was the best babysitter, because our parents would drop us off every weekend. Nice. And it became bragging rights. Well, I saw it 10 times. Well, I saw it 12 times. I mean, because it stayed in the theater over and over again. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I mean, because you didn't know, especially when in the original one, when A New Hope, you couldn't tell. Nowadays we can see, though, yeah, those were models and how he made it, but the special effects for its time were like,
they're still really impressive.
The practical effects in those movies is
and to think that the Death Star was deconstructed from multiple boxes of a car, like the model cars that you would put together. They're all different parts, including the little bits of plastic that you break off and throw away. They used every bit of it to create a texture on the Death Star surface.
So yeah, my big brother and big sister had seen them all since they began in the theater. And then it was out on VHS when VHS was fresh and new, and we watched it a million times. And I never remember a time when I didn't know the facts.
I wish I didn't know that at one point, but I always knew,
I ruined it for someone, though.
Oh no.
Standing around at lunch getting excited because this was my senior year of high school. It was slated to come out Thursday after AP tests were completely done. And we're standing around getting excited about it. And this girl who all her siblings were close to her age. So I think she had one older brother, one younger brother, and they had just never seen it. And I was saying exactly what you just said, like, oh, I wish, I've never known that Luke and Leia were, I always knew that they were brother and sister, and I always knew that Darth was their dad, and da-da-da, and she's like, I didn't know any of those things.
Oh, no!
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I don't really believe in spoilers, but that's definitely a spoiler.
Dude, those movies had already been out for like
10
years.
I had plenty
Okay.
of time.
My youngest son was almost disowned because he kept falling asleep in the movies, and he's not a star. He's just now as a young adult a Star Wars fan, but it's like we're crazy about Star Wars stuff. We've collected the action figures for like 23 years. I represent the female characters. I have all the different Leia's and Queen Amidala. I have a Queen Amidala doll that's like this big on a stand. Well, because we still have a lot of the action figures still in packages, but most of the time we want the value is in playing with them and getting joy from. But
Yeah.
it's like here's your toy. Don't take it out of the package. Enjoy.
I love Star Wars, but I have other sci-fi that rates above it for me.
Yeah. Star Wars is just like one of those things that's like real important to me, mostly just because it like James and I bonded over it when we first started dating, and we would play Star Wars Trivial Pursuit like every night. Our friend Andrew would come over. We'd like walk to the grocery store and pick up like snacks and stuff, walk back to the house and play Star Wars Trivial Pursuit every night. And I remember one night being so excited because I actually beat James, which was like bragging rights forever because he grew up with those movies, knows everything. But yeah.
I remember thinking that Kevin and James should play each other because they're kind of the same. I tried for this brings up a memory for Kevin and I. He had the Star Wars card game, which they have again tried to bring back. Disney tried to bring it back.
I still have like 500, 600 of those cards. I stink at that game.
I've never played it. My little brother had it, and so I was like, oh, he doesn't know how to play. I can ask Kevin and pretend like I'm interested in it and ask Kevin to teach me how to play it. And he didn't understand that I did not want to learn that game.
Yeah. Those are dumb.
Like really sincerely trying to teach me the game. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
There's another complicated part of that story, but it's not important for right now.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, so we've all done our number 4.
So Karin, 3.
Number 3 is the Divergent series.
Mm.
It's supposed to be a trilogy, but I hate when they break the last book into 2 movies. They really didn't need to. But I've watched the movie over and over again. I love seeing the modern architecture in a decayed state. When they show, I don't know, Lake Michigan what's the lake that Chicago is on?
I think it's on Michigan.
Yeah, we see Lake Michigan completely dried out and become prairie, and the different. I love the whole social experiment of it all.
I found the premise interesting. I could never get into, I tried to get into the books because I wanted to read the books before seeing the movie, and I didn't get past that boundary. Would you say, see the movie, skip the books?
I would say the movies are good value on their own. You don't have to read the books to enjoy the movies. And the movies do offer something visual in a different layer that you don't, like when there's places where, well, you should see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, there's some of my favorites, obviously. In the series,
give me like a 20-second premise.
Okay. War has happened, and they've grouped out all the peoples into different factions based on their natural gifting or intelligence. Mm-hmm. There's one faction that's the military. They're forceful. They're the defenders. There's people that only are logic based. They have no compassion, but they're great for making rules. Mm-hmm. There's other people that are only compassion, and they're the hippies that grow the food out in the food. There's people that are super super honest, and they're somewhere in between. And then anyone who doesn't fit in those factions gets kicked out and are the homeless people.
Oh,
and everything's within a wall. Because there's a story that anything beyond the wall is all dead and dormant, and this is the only way to maintain civilization is to maintain people in factions. Mm-hmm. When a child comes to a certain age, they they have to choose which faction to go through, and there's pressure because they go through testing that tells them what their giftings are. And if you're not gifted into your family's faction and you choose something, there's like a disloyal, because once you go to a faction that's different from your family, they're dead to you. So yeah.
I remember them coming out, and I remembered vaguely it was something like sorting people into groups, but I couldn't remember.
And then there's the divergent. Those are the people that cannot be classified, that don't fit in one faction but fit in multiple factions. And because of that, they're a danger to the order of society because they don't fit in their box.
Okay, then.
It was pretty interesting, the social structuring.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I love that movie.
There's so many lines you can quote from those.
I can't, it's sort of like prayer when I am raised Catholic, and if I go to church, I can do all the responses. I can't necessarily do it out of context, but if you turn that movie on at any point, I can do it verbatim.
I have an unpopular opinion about that movie.
I know. But I shared my opinions about it. So.
But I know, I understand people like love those movies, so I get it.
We used to do it in cross country in high school. We would recite it from start to finish. And I had one friend who was like, it's much funnier. Like, I don't like this movie at all. It's much funnier to just watch you guys.
That's what James was saying. It's like, that movie's funnier when you're remembering it than it is when you're watching it. Like, it's more fun to talk about it with your friends and like say all the lines. It's funnier that way.
Yeah.
It's not a question of weight ratio, of where he grips it. It's a question of weight ratios. A 3-ounce sparrow couldn't possibly carry a 2-pound coconut. I thought we only told him
I think I have a low threshold for British humor.
Well, no, you might have a high threshold.
I don't know which way it goes.
I am in. As soon as you're I'm in. The one we like to do is the questions at the bridge. That comes up in casual, like,
what is your quest?
Yeah. What's your favorite color? I mean, these are all.
The Knights of St. Nier are amazing. They're so funny.
These are all movies that probably come from the same part of my childhood. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say.
I would say I like every one of these I'm going to give you. I was exposed to anywhere between 8 and 15.
They made an impact on you.
Oh yeah. So Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail. I've never really enjoyed any of the others as much as that too. I mean, I like the Flying Circus and those.
There's a reason why that one's the most popular.
I like The Meaning of Life. There's various scenes in The Meaning of Life that I enjoy. I've never seen Life of Brian. My family seems to love that one a lot. But I like The Meaning of Life, where they go through different, the Catholic man comes home and he says, well, have to sell a bunch of you to the medical experiments. Can't afford you.
I want to take this moment to debut my new mug. Is it backwards?
And mug I've ever seen in my life.
That is so you.
It took me a lot of speculating on whether or not I should buy it several times to Target before I was like, that's the last one, I better get it.
You needed it.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3. Katie.
My number 3 is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Ooh.
I was thinking about my list.
I haven't seen that one. I wanted to, though.
I was thinking about my list in terms of directors, and I had to put a Wes Anderson movie on my list because I love Wes Anderson a lot. And the Grand Budapest Hotel it's probably not on like the list of like his best movies. Like, it's probably not like the number 1.
Oh.
But I love Ralph Fiennes, and he's so good in that movie. And is it Saoirse Ronan? I think Saoirse Ronan is in it.
Like Inertia.
Yeah. But it's just so good. And it's got like, if you like Wes Anderson movies, it's got like cameos of he's one of those, like, Bill Murray's in all of his movies. He has a small cameo, which is palatable because too much Bill Murray is too much Bill Murray.
Yeah.
So there's just a little bit of Bill Murray in it. That's why like The Life Aquatic is not my favorite because it's too much Bill Murray. But The Grand Budapest is amazing. It
I like
makes
the
me,
Tenenbaums best, I think.
yeah. That's too much
Too much Bill Murray.
yeah.
Okay. Bill Murray walks around like in the back of a scene.
I'm like, that's perfect. Stop right there. That's all I need. I like Wes Anderson because I was listening to somebody else talk about movies, and they were saying that a negative that they thought is you never forget you're watching a movie when you're watching a Wes Anderson movie. It's not like you get pulled into it, but I like to think it's kind of like a play. Like, he's like presenting you a story. You're not going to get lost into this world, which I like because it's like, I find it more entertaining because it's like, you feel like you're being entertained.
Yeah.
All of the scenery and all the set dressing and
I enjoy his world creating very much. I think he has like a really interesting way to create worlds.
He has a very distinct style. But that movie is so good. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. It's my favorite. Well, it's not my favorite, but number 3.
I can't remember if I've seen it, so I'm gonna have to revisit it.
It's set in like
Budapest?
Well, yeah, no, I was trying to think of like the era, but I couldn't pick a date off the top of my head. But it'll make you want to travel to Europe, and it's also really funny. Like he does a good job of like pulling comedy out of actors that you don't think are that funny. Like, I wouldn't think of Ralph Fiennes as like a funny actor, but he's so funny in that movie. He's fabulous. I love it.
Very refreshing, because no, you don't think of him. You think of him as like, I'm the serious brother, and
Voldemort.
now,
yeah,
he's the what?
He's the serious brother of the Fiennes brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Mom's coming home soon. Did you do your chores?
Yeah. Oh, but he's so good.
The narc.
Narc.
Okay.
No, the enforcer. I'm like comparing him to my eldest child.
Well, he's
okay. Yeah. So we've number 2?
Yeah.
Okay. I did a switcheroo. Number 1 became number 2. One of my previous ones I hadn't said yet got kicked off the list because I remembered it a better number 1. So keeping that in mind. Number 2 is the Hunger Games series. I kind of got a theme.
That was going to be on your list.
Yeah, I started rewatching it. Well, because on Freeform they've got it, but I'm like, why am I watching it with commercials? I own this.
Yeah.
I own the digital of this because I've watched them over and over and over again. And what happens is you get so caught. I realized I'd forgotten the first movie. All the scenes I could remember in my head, I realized, no, that's not in the first movie. That's in the second movie. And all this stuff that happens in the third movie was because of the first. So watching them again, just kind of reorder the things is good for me. Anyway.
I think I love those movies. I think they are very good at
those ones. You benefit better from the book first.
Yeah, but I love the books like 1,000 times over.
Was that Veronica Roth?
It's Susan Collins, I think.
Oh, Veronica Roth is the Divergent.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. Yeah, The Hunger Games, that one I actually do like the books better. Slightly better. There's just more richness and detail that didn't come out in the movie.
Great movies, though. And those were fun because my son was an age that we kind of like connected on them. And so we would go to the movies and see each one together. And I don't think we really have a bond on anything else like that for that age for him. He was like an 8th grader, and it was something fun we got to bond over. I remember in the books, when you get to a certain point in the second book, I was like, no, not again. And I closed it. And I put it down for a long time.
You get just as angry as the characters.
Yeah.
But I love that when the characters are about to go back in, their last night before they go back into the games, how they're like, no, we're not going to shine and be pretty puppets for you. We're mad. We did our part. You promised to leave us alone, and here we are.
That might be the best role I've ever seen Woody Harrelson in.
I have to agree with you on that one, because I really wasn't a Woody Harrelson fan before that, but I really that made me. What?
You can't not love the Cheers Woody. Like,
Well, Cheers
he
Woody, but when he broke out of Cheers, he was not Cheers Woody anymore. And I understand he doesn't want to be typecast, you know, and that's why it was great for this role.
I do think the kid who played PETA, Josh, whatever, he did a good job, but that is not the way that I pictured PETA to be. And I realized that when I was thinking of actors to play PETA, I was thinking of my contemporary.
Oh.
Ginger actors or light blonde actors who are big and kind of buff and manly, who are totally my contemporary. And
yeah, there's a part where she says, "Go throw that 50-pound sour."
Yeah.
I'm thinking they never actually show him actually trying to throw it. So you only see him after he's in this position. You never see him hoisted on his shoulder because that actor's too small to truly do that.
Yeah. So I will always feel forever cheated, like when you find out that you should have seen one actor portray a character that didn't get cast. Evan Peters apparently was up for the role of PETA.
Who was?
Evan Peters from American Horror Story, and he plays Quicksilver in the X-Men, the new class X-Men.
I can see him in that role.
Oh, he'd be so much better. At least he's like the right dimensions to play.
But I don't know if he would have the same believable chemistry, not chemistry, with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what The Killer was. But I like Evan Peters, and I would have liked that much better.
So who else has their number 2?
My number 2 is Labyrinth.
Yes.
We actually wore out a DVD. We wore out a VHS of that movie. My sister was really fascinated with it, and I remember I was sneaking to watch it because the beginning's kind of scary, and my mom thought it was too scary for me. I think I was 5 or 6 when it was new. And I would like sneak around the corner to watch it, and eventually I would just like quietly creep into the room.
But didn't you like the gates that opened up that were all like hands?
No, I hate that part. It's so creepy.
I love that part.
But I do love everything about that movie. David Bowie's music, his performance. My sister's a huge David Bowie fan, and so of course she like ate that up like a drug. And I love the Jim Henson puppetry, the imaginary world. And my mom didn't love that my big sister liked that movie so much, because she kind of had that love-hate when I was a baby, because she's 12 years older than me. But I love everything about that movie. My sister and I went to in LA every year, there's a Labyrinth themed ball.
That would be fun.
It's very fun. People do cosplay of not just Labyrinth, but of that same kind of like fairy imaginary world, and it's amazing. I made a really fun costume, and it was like peasant wear compared to what people were wearing. It was an amazing experience. We've tried to go in the past, years after, and it hasn't really worked out with our schedules, but it's amazing. So, Labyrinth.
Fun fact.
I'm the Dark Crystal fan.
Same kind of world. Yeah. I've just gotten in the Dark Crystal with the prequel stuff that came out this year.
The Netflix series is really good.
It's amazing.
It's really good.
Really good.
And it sounds like there's going to have more seasons of it. So we're totally looking forward to that.
That was very talk about disappearing into a world when you're watching something. I felt very immersed in the Dark Crystal series that just came out. And the bad guys are real bad. They're real scary.
They're real creepy.
Kaity?
I was gonna say one last thing about Labyrinth. I always do imitations of the junk lady, the woman who
every time I walk from here to my car, I'm the junk lady.
Here's your little poopy bear. You love your poopy bear. Take it. Here, don't you love your poopy bear?
Yeah.
The actress who plays her is named Karin.
Oh.
I'm kind of channeling the junk lady right now with the headband. So Katie.
My number 2 is Jurassic Park.
Ooh.
Ah.
That's the movie. Like, all of these I could watch anytime, but I literally could put Jurassic Park on at any point in the movie and be happy to watch.
The original, the first one? Yeah.
It's like the perfect, it doesn't make any sense, but it's like the perfect like background movie for me to like do other things because I've seen it
totally
so many times. Like, I know exactly what's going to happen, so if I miss anything, I'm not upset because I've already seen it 1,000 times. But Laura Dern is so good, and I love Sam Neill so much. If you don't follow Sam Neill on Instagram right now, he's like living his best life, making wine in New Zealand with his like, pigs and sheep, and it's like some quality content. So you got to follow Sam Neill on Instagram.
Right now, because I am not a huge Sam Neill fan, but I find that every time I encounter him, that I really enjoy his performance.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch Peaky Blinders then?
No, I haven't.
I like it.
First 2 seasons, he plays the ultimate adversary. You gotta.
He's in this movie called
Let's not be wrong, but
yeah. He's in this, Sam Neill's in this movie called Hunt for the Wilder People, which is like one of my honorable mentions. Watch it. It's directed by Taika Waititi.
What?
It's directed by Taika Waititi.
Okay, I just really want to hear you say that again because it's
funny. That's the Jojo Rabbit guy, right?
Yes. He directed and he played Hitler in Jojo Rabbit, but Sam Neill is in Hunt for the Wilder People, and it is so good. But Jurassic Park is just one of those movies that I've seen so many times, and James always says like it's like the perfect movie. It's like his definition of like a perfect movie because it's like Spielberg at his finest. It's so good.
I want to know what happened to those kids because the kids who acted in that were amazing.
Okay.
I mean, that girl is
the girl Lexi is in, before she was in Jurassic Park, she was in Tremors. And I know that was another honorable mention for me. But the guy,
I actually do like that. That for late night horror film when you can't sleep.
Tremors is so
Tremors
good.
is it.
We're gonna make I want to come back and tell you my like summer must watch movie list.
Okay.
Later. We're done with this.
Tim, the kid in Jurassic Park, Tim, I didn't ever see him in anything until we watched Bohemian Rhapsody, and he plays John Deacon. And I was watching the movie, I'm like, who is that guy? And I was like, it like snapped in my brain that it was Tim, and then I couldn't stop laughing because it looks exactly, he looks like a child, but just like longer and taller. He looks exactly the same, but yeah, but he's.
I have to watch for that.
What was the show that you said that Lexi is in?
She was in Tremors.
I still didn't hear you.
She was in Tremors.
Just Tremors?
I don't know. I haven't looked up her IMDb to see what else she's in.
I was looking at it when we watched it last, and I didn't think that, and so I might have watched it before Bohemian Rhapsody. I was surprised to find that I didn't think the kids really did anything after.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up right now because now I'm curious. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think they did a whole lot after, except that what's his name? The kid, Joseph Mazzello, that's his name. Was in Bohemian Rhapsody. So now I'm looking at Ariana Richards. She was in Tremors. She was in.
Oh, that was her name, Ariana Richards.
She was in Jurassic Park and the second one, and like it looks like a lot of terrible B movies after that.
Oh, that's a shame because she was so compelling in the first one.
Yeah.
Really well done kid actors.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times kids in movies are like real obnoxious, but those kids are, I mean, they're obnoxious, but they're not that bad.
They're like in the I'm going on a weekend with my grandpa, like they personified what they were supposed to be doing perfectly.
They're very realistic kids, I think.
I think, Steven Spielberg directs kids really well.
Yes, he does.
Well, he came up with the Animaniacs, so there you go.
Animaniacs.
I know, it's stuck in your head.
Thanks a lot. I don't see
in the brain
show that you were talking about with Sam Neill.
What was that?
The Hunt for the Wilder People?
Hunt for the Wilder People. I think it's on Hulu.
All right, I'll look on Hulu at home. Oh, I found it. All right.
It's real good. It's one of those movies I like, really like.
Yes, I saw, like, I watched the trailer for this and it looked great, and I just never got back to it.
I like a semi-weird movie that's like a movie that's really gonna catch me has got to be like weird in like a specific way, and that movie's a perfect example. I really like Taika Waititi because he also directed Thor Ragnarok, and
Is
that's
my
one of my honorable mentions.
It's actually the only Thor movie I really like.
It's the best one. It's the best.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's the best Marvel movie. It's so good. But
Well, I'm an Ant-Man fan, so sorry. But none of that made my list, so.
yeah, I didn't have any on my list. Yeah, okay. That's my number 2, Jurassic Park.
Very nice. Did you see Corey Kingsley's post like yesterday, Katie?
Probably.
Your wood-burning friend, right?
Yeah.
She had a very cute project bag from someone who I can't remember, but it
Oh
was,
yeah.
I was very tempted to buy that bag.
That
Yeah.
one?
It was still in the shop yesterday.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, I've seen that fabric before.
Cute. Where do you get that fabric? I want it.
I don't know.
I don't really want a project bag in it. I want something else. I don't know what.
It's probably from Spoonflower, but
I like it. I mean, the project bags look very nicely made. It's just I have a lot of project bags.
yeah, you can do other things.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like let me see if I can scroll if I can zoom in. I like Ellie with the giant hoop.
Yes. I totally sold it. Because Dante is my big Jurassic Park fan. Like, we all like it. But he would probably agree with you about, like, just can you have it on as a constant loop, or the whole I can't think of the word, but all 5 movies going on a loop would make him happy too. He likes them all.
I only really like the first one.
Yeah.
The first one with Chris Pratt, the first Jurassic World is not bad, but none of them are as good as the first one. Lost World is pretty good though, but it's not as good.
Lost World's okay, but yeah, it doesn't have, because the magic of the first movie is all of the characters, like the dynamics of the
even the blood-sucking lawyer.
Yep.
And what a way to go, huh?
Yeah.
And what's his face, Newman as the bad guy.
Oh, he's so good. Wayne Knight, he's so funny. That movie. And Samuel Jackson's in it. It's everything.
Yeah.
The third movie is trash.
I've seen the third movie. It's been a long time. I recently read the book and had like a great time reading the book. So
but yeah, the third movie's trash. But it's fun. It's fun trash.
Yeah.
So number 1.
Number 1, and it's a movie I've got memorized from start to finish. It's a Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, and it's the one movie that they both said they hated doing. It's called Joe versus the Volcano.
Oh.
It's because, you know why? Because it has a lot of the same imagery as the Fritz Lang Metropolis.
Oh.
Very similar. It has lots of different vignettes, scenes that are vignettes of classic Americana. You know, I feel for him with his brain cloud, because most of the times I live in a brain cloud. But
I know I saw that as a kid, but I can't remember it. And every once in a while it pops up like on suggested on Netflix. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Meg Ryan plays 3 different characters. They're all sisters, but they're all her.
Okay.
You know, I learned the word flibbertigibbet from there. A flibbertigibbet.
I was so nervous you were gonna say my number 1 is your number 1, but it didn't even make your list.
We haven't had any overlap.
I know. I'm a little.
Except for, well, I had Star Wars on my list.
That was to be expected.
But we'd already talked about it, so I didn't mind bumping it. I'm like, how could I forget Joe versus the Volcano? So.
All right.
And your number 1?
The Princess Bride.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man.
About that.
I wish I had that whole never mess with a Sicilian when there's death on the line. I wish I had that whole monologue memorized.
I've seen that movie so many times, and when you were talking about sneaking in to watch, was it Labyrinth when your sister was watching it? I remember being little and like sneaking in to watch Princess Bride, but I was always terrified of the ROUSs. I would like to leave the room. It was so scary.
Very terrifying.
Yeah. So scary.
Of unusual size.
Places where that is celebrated in my life, every year that we change the clocks, one of my favorite memes that pops up is I can't think of his name. He directs.
The blonde?
No, so the six-fingered man doing tests on Wesley. I have sucked 1 year of your life. How do you feel?
Oh, Christopher Guest.
1 hour. I'm sorry. Thank you. That's yeah. I've sucked 1 hour of your life. How do you feel now?
And remember, be truthful. This is for posterity.
I learned the word posterity. I mean,
That's such a great movie.
I'm not going to do them all, but there's just one person I don't like at work, and when he still thought we'd be friends, I asked him to do something, and he's like, "As you wish," and I almost punched him in the face.
You're like, do not ruin that for me.
Don't you dare presume to use that at work. It's not appropriate.
It's inappropriate,
sir. Actually, my husband punched you in the face.
Well,
how dare you flirt with me?
When you think how many people, when that movie was done, all the people that were in it were so much younger. Mm-hmm. You had Mandy Patinkin, and he went on to do great things. The blonde guy what's his name?
Cary Elwes.
Yeah.
Yes, Cary Elwes. He's gone on to do other things. I mean, did you recognize her when in Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
It took me a while to make that connection. Oh, she was Princess Bride.
She's freaking Antiope in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Oh. No, Antiope. Okay. Antiope is the mom. It's something with an H.
What about that? There was a TV series where she was first lady, and she was evil. I forget what's his. There's
No, she's not the first. Well, maybe she gets to it. I stopped watching the series, but House of Cards is what you're thinking of.
House of Cards, yeah. They get to be the first lady in the first season.
I think no, not in the first season.
Oh, maybe they're running in the first season. He's still a senator or something.
In the first,
anyway, she's just as evil as he is.
Yes. Oh, she holds her own just fine.
She absolutely does.
I love her in all. I can't think of a performance she's done that hasn't been fantastic.
She's an actress that I would say really aged well.
Mm-hmm.
She was already strong. She's very versatile. She can do lots of different roles.
Have you seen her in Wonder Woman? She's buff as heck.
Yeah.
She's badass.
Wow.
Yep.
I was just reading a fun fact about Princess Bride that was about how they tried to make the movie a lot earlier than it actually got made. And I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to play the giant, but then by the time they got the movie like funded and started, he was too big of a star. But how much worse would that movie be if he was in it instead of?
It would have forever marred and ruined the movie.
Yeah, it would have been no good.
No movie.
Plus, who could be a giant except Andre the Giant?
Andre the Giant, he's so like sweet and lovable in that movie. It's so, I love him.
If you want to cry, you watch the documentary about his life.
I know, I haven't watched it.
Yeah. He was kind of that way in real life too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's about his life and death. He was big in everything that he did. I love everything about that movie. So Kevin read a meme that was just yesterday that 2020 is the Dread Pirate Roberts. I'm not going to quote this one right, but good night, sleep well. Tomorrow in the morning, I will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's accurate. Good work today. Sleep well. I'll most likely kill you in the morning.
Well done, Katie.
I've seen that movie a lot.
I love that movie. And that is no matter where it is in the movie.
Yeah.
I even love here I go. I love the hag characters.
I was thinking of too. Trash.
Go ahead and bow down if you want. Bow down to the queen of slime, the queen of putrescence.
I love Billy Crystal and his wife.
Oh my God.
Happening.
Yep.
To blaze. We all know what that means.
Oh,
Okay, when someone leaves the house, we still say, have fun storming the castle.
Yeah.
Think it'll work?
That.
It'd take a miracle.
I try not to say that too much, like at work, because they don't think it's funny.
What?
You send somebody out on a funeral and say, have fun storming the castle.
Well, yeah.
well.
Context.
In the office. I don't send the funeral procession out with that.
No.
That might be why they don't let me out of my corner in the office.
Yeah, and you stay over there.
There's always context for stuff. When I worked at a law firm, my sister did a cross stitch for me, a humorous one that says, "First thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers." And and we just thought it was a funny thing to have in a law firm, except the week after I put it up was when that person in Ventura went through and shot everybody up in a law firm. So they're like, I understand it was how it was from like Henry VIII or Fifth Night. One of the Shakespeare plays, they were trying to figure out how to overthrow the government, and the first thing they would do is get rid of the lawyers, but yeah. So someone in HR had a gentle conversation with me about sensitivity. I'm like, it's Shakespeare. Yeah, but still, we don't want to talk about killing lawyers at this time.
Okay, I have a perfect summer watch movie list.
Okay.
I'm surprised.
Wait, did Katie give her first?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. My number one is The Big Lebowski.
All right, I've been waiting for that one. I was
Number one.
thinking, it's so weird Katie didn't say that one yet. Oh, because I didn't give you your turn.
Yep. Like I said, Jeff Bridges, he's my man. Yeah, that's the other Coen Brothers movie that was on my list.
I didn't realize that was a Coen Brothers movie.
Oh yeah.
It's perfect. Now I know that.
It's very much a Coen Brothers movie.
It's the Coen Brothers movie.
John Goodman's in it. Steve Buscemi's in it. It's yeah. And freaking what's her name? Oh, now that I said it, I can't think of her name. She plays Nancy Donovan in 30 Rock, and I love her.
Oh.
Oh.
No, I love everything about 30 Rock. I was
so
like,
good. Yeah. I love it when they start talking. And she puts her Boston accent on so strong.
Oh, I'm upset that I can't remember what her name is. She plays Maud Lebowski. Hold on. Because this is making me mad that I can't think of it.
In my head.
Julianne Moore is her name. It's Julianne Moore.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Julianne Moore was in 30 Rock?
Yes. She was
Nancy-
Jack Donaghy's Boston girlfriend, Nancy Donovan.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
With
she's
a really
so
thick
good.
accent.
Oh, I love
I totally
her.
forgot about that. Oh, she was so good too.
I thought about wearing my my dude sweater, but it's a little too sweaty for that. Yeah, no. Jeff Bridges holds a very. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it is Me Made May, and I did wear Me Made to work, but then I showered.
Yeah.
Put my sweater on.
Technically, that's what this is.
I'm not wearing anything.
But I wear it all the time, so I wasn't really thinking about it for May.
Well, it's May, and you made it.
There you go.
Day one done.
There you go. You're off to a good start. No, I just love Jeff Bridges. He's like my favorite person. And I always say I don't want to marry him. I just want to be best friends with him. I want him to be like my uncle. I just want to be around him. I love him.
The kind of guy that would be at a family picnic.
Yeah,
right?
I just want to hang out with him.
Yeah.
I've seen him twice in concert with his band. The last time we went was at, what's that place downtown that's like a hip bowling alley?
I know it. Discovery Zone.
Yes, Discovery. That's where it was.
Oh.
And we were literally I was in the front of the stage. I could have reached out to touch him. He was that close to me. But Yeah. That's
Just before security hauled you out.
Yeah, I wasn't. I restrained myself.
That's funny.
Favorite scene? Do you have like a top, like the scene you think of in your mind's eye when you think of that movie?
It's one of those movies that like I've seen so many times, and every time I'm confused because the Coen brothers are really good at making such a convoluted plot because the plot is like B story. It's all about the characters. And every time I'm like, but wait, so he bribed that guy or did he not bribe that guy? And then I have to think it through every single time because there's so many things that happen that I always get confused.
I don't know what that movie is about. Like, I mean, I love it. I've seen it several times.
Yeah, you couldn't say what it's about.
Oh.
Sam Elliott's in not Sam Elliott. Yeah, Sam Elliott's in that movie.
I, of course, in like for my day job, we love the collecting the friends earn.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything cheaper?
Yeah. He's like, is there a Ralph's by? And he comes back with the coffee can.
But you can't get that anymore. Like that would be.
Oh yeah, no, it's a plastic thing.
The next time I see it available, I'm going to buy from Super Emo Friends, which is a he illustrates fan art with like an emo tint to it,
like
and he has a hilarious illustration of them opening to do the spreading and it blowing back on them.
He's just standing there, and then Walter turns around and sees him just like covered in ashes, and he's like, "I'm sorry, dude."
I have like a perfect corner in my office that even if someone from the public came in, they could not see it, but I could enjoy it.
Nice. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
So fun.
Watch it whenever.
Okay. Perfect summer watch list. 3 movies. Here are my 3 movies. One will be a series.
I didn't prepare this. Am I supposed to think of some, or am I just?
Well, if something comes up, or maybe I'll hit on yours. I mean, we've already said one of them. Okay. And I will go.
Oh, I thought of one. Sorry.
Okay. Number 3 keeps disappearing from my brain. I'm sorry. Like the bottom one is Tremors.
Yep.
And you can go on to watch the other Tremors if you're so inclined.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. It goes on and on. But of course,
worse and worse and worse.
Kevin Bacon, shedding his jeans.
I may have to rewatch that. I forgot about that.
Kevin Bacon. Number 2. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I found it. It came back. It's a current movie, or just last summer. 47 Meters Down, Uncaged. Did you watch it? It's amazing.
I was going to say Jaws is my best summer movie.
Jaws series will be my number 1. That's where I figured we could on that. Because every summer I like to watch Jaws, the whole series, 1, 2, 3 at least. And like that's the best joke in Back to the Future too. Jaws 43 or whatever it is.
The Jaws.
Yeah. But if you like Jaws, you've got to watch this. It's terrible.
Maybe I'm not gonna write that one down.
No, it's fabulous though. It's fabulous terrible. Like
fabulous terrible. It's called
47 Meters Down Unchained. It is a pure, stupid, shock movie with a shark. Oh, 2 sharks, I think.
Oh, 2 sharks.
2 cave sharks.
Okay.
But how can you put a chain around a shark?
Uncaged.
Oh, Uncaged. You're
right. Jaws is an honorable mention on my list because I love that movie because Steven Spielberg. But have you read the novel Jaws? It's so infuriating. I hated it.
Service announcement to not do that.
Don't read the book.
I remember reading it a long time ago.
It pissed me off. I hated it so much.
That tainted something you love.
Steven Spielberg did a really great job of pulling the best things out of that book and leaving the garbage behind because it was
But you don't really like the character of the sheriff from the book because he's just kind of,
he's fine. The problem I have with that book is that his wife cheats on him with the college student kid who, like, the shark expert who comes to the island to, like, help, and they, like, have an affair. It's like, where did that come from? That's not in the movie.
It's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, it is. It's completely unnecessary. And it takes up like 30% of that stupid book. Hated it.
All I know is, okay, so my memory of Jaws, I was a very impressionable child, and I couldn't watch even commercials. The commercials of Jaws scared me so much. We were living up at a lake, and someone told me there was such thing as freshwater sharks. And because I saw that commercial, I was terrified that a shark was going to swim up to the shore, grab me by the ankles, and drag me in. And so I couldn't watch that. Eventually, I did watch it. But the thing that really stuck out to me is that was Amityville, right? On Amity Island or something like that. And the same year that came out, the Amityville Horror came out.
Not connected.
And I'm like,
Those
who
are
wants to go to
separate places.
Amityville? If the demon house doesn't get you, the sharks will.
You're a little kid, huh?
Huh?
You're a little kid and you're thinking of them together.
That
connected.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, because on the commercials, you know, they're like one of those barn type looking houses with the round wedge type windows, and they become red eyes, and I was terrified.
Yeah, that really happened.
But
that's part of the story they verified. I love the Amityville Horror, like that story. I've watched both the movies, and I have read incessantly about what really happened, and it's so messed up.
Yeah. I've not seen the movies, but I've read about it.
So it's based on a real thing, sort of?
Well, it's based on like a kid trying to get out of the fact that he probably murdered his whole family.
Oh.
Eldest son. There was an eldest son, which is never portrayed in the movies. And he was out late at night and like out in the bars, and he comes home to find his family dead. But really, all the evidence points to the idea that he killed his whole family.
And he probably just blacked it out with amnesia.
Or he lied about it.
Yeah, I think he just lied about it.
Well, because in the movie, they have like the gates of hell opening up through the door into the basement.
Yep.
I was like,
I think Ryan.
I wasn't into any kind of demonic type things. I wasn't into Rosemary's Baby or the Exorcist or any of those type of movies that came out during that time.
Polanski is a terrible human being, but I love Rosemary's Baby. And oh my gosh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Did you guys see that yet?
Mm-mm.
So good. Like, you have to remember that it is a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to rewrite history. He likes to do it in a big, messy, bloody, gory way, but it's all so gratifying. And if you remember that, you're gonna like it.
I have a very low threshold for Quentin Tarantino. I love both the Kill Bill movies a lot.
I haven't seen them.
Oh.
I've seen Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, I don't like most of his other movies, but I love Kill Bill. It's so good.
It's like every time that's up on a streaming site, like one half is free and not the other half. So
you have to watch both of them. It's like one movie. It's split in two. All right. Well, I think we've gone on for long enough about all of our favorite movies.
I can go on.
Okay.
I could talk forever.
You said you had 10. Do you want to tell us your other 5 just quickly?
I have Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
Peter Pan. Thor Ragnarok, which I already mentioned. Kingsman, and Kingsman's so good, and Totoro. Those are my other 5.
Those, they're all very good.
Those are not in an order. Those are just 5 more.
I'm late to
Totoro. Trevor can totally do the dance of Napoleon Dynamite.
It's a classic.
It's classic.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
did
you come up with an obsession?
Anybody?
No, I don't have an obsession right now, other than, wait, let me think.
This tea is amazing. I'm obsessed with all teas right now because I'm trying not to drink as much. Maybe a lot of people. So this has like a little bit of licorice root in it, and sometimes the herbal teas have like a very heavy anise flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I bought this and it said heartwarming touch of rose, chamomile, and lavender, and that sounded amazing. And then I got it home and I saw that it had licorice root as one of the flavors, and I was really bummed. But it's perfect. This like
nice.
light walking by of the licorice flavor, and it's so good. But I'm drinking a lot of different yummy teas.
Nice.
That's my new favorite. I'm also a little obsessed with making bias tape.
Bias tape makers, they make a huge difference.
I'm very excited. This was supposed to come like by June 22nd, and it wasn't one of the things
Came early.
Yeah, it's like yours, but
Hey, it's my set.
It's not by the same people. It doesn't have the cute little heart.
Oh, it's probably out of the same factory in China. They just didn't stamp it on the cover.
But yeah, I liked your set, and
I can't even imagine making the smallest size. How tiny is that going to be?
I'm gonna find out. It's wasn't supposed to come until like June 22nd. So the two things that were supposed to come today, Amazon and Knitpicks, didn't come today. That came today.
Nice. You never know.
It's real weird.
It's a weird time.
Yep.
This time is making me, here's my obsession. I am obsessed with making things from the Great British Baking Show.
Oh,
nice.
So I made an angel food cake. Which meant I had to get an angel food cake pan, and it had to do it upside down just like they do. I have pulverized dried raspberries that I folded into the egg whites. And my husband's like, "Is that a Genoese?" I go, "That's a fatless sponge." So we're all about the lingo and the buzzwords of it. And so we watched now we've gone through the series and we're watching the master class. And my husband saw Mary Berry's tiramisu cake, so he wants that for Father's Day. So I've got a square pan with a bottom that comes out coming.
What's he gonna make on Mother's Day? That comes first.
They don't tell me, so I don't know.
I want one thing for Mother's Day. I mean, I want two things. So the same thing I ask for every year, which is a clean house. But I want this T-shirt I saw at Target, which would go really good with this. It says, "Question everything except your mother."
I like that.
I like that.
I'll wear it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's my favorite piece of clothing. If I teach them one thing, it's that lesson.
I don't really have an obsession. I was trying to think of something, and it's like, I think last time I talked about Animal Crossing. I'm still playing a lot of Animal Crossing.
Do you look at the comic Sad Animal Facts?
Mm-mm.
You look her up on Instagram because she has like a 10 frame, like, I wish I could play. And it's real pathetic.
Yeah. I would love for anybody that I knew in real life to also play Animal Crossing, because I don't know a single person. And a big thing about Animal Crossing is like going to visit your friends, and like you can get a little bit farther along if you have connections with other people.
So,
but I don't know anybody.
You know two of my sons. You know
I
Ian.
know, but I want to like.
And you know Trevor. Trevor would totally play and be friends with you.
Yeah. My sister wanted to get a Switch for her birthday, but they're sold out everywhere and you can't get one.
Did
so
you
she
figure
really
out how
wants to play.
Did you figure out how to cheat the system and to be able to go back in time?
That's cheating. I'm not cheating.
Well, apparently
on my island.
Apparently they found a way to knock that out. Because now the way you can't predict the day that the prices are going to go up anymore.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not cheating. Just slowly plugging away.
Yeah, yeah. Be friends with Trevor. You know him, and he is obsessed with Animal Crossing. So.
Yeah, I have a couple like friends online that I don't know like in person, and I have their friend codes. I can go visit them, but it's like it would be so much fun if like my sister were playing and I could go, but whatever. Yeah,
I have friend codes of people that I only know through Wizards Unite. But I always wonder about the one who is her tag is Mommy is Busy, and because she's up in Santa Barbara, I'm like, oh. And you see, I'm from Fillmore, and we're like, we do stuff in Ventura. We're like, we see each. I'm like, oh, I'm like, I know she went walk. It's almost like you're stalking because the gifts that they give your game, I'm like, oh, she went to the turtle pond again, or oh, she. Like,
me out about when they added friends is that you could see, like you could. I mean, since you just know too much about my life if I were giving you gifts from the places I acquired them.
Well, nowadays, since no one's going anywhere, and most of your gifts come from wizarding battles, it just has a generic picture of the wizarding towers for most of them. So
None of us said Harry Potter as our no, but we all love Harry Potter,
Oh, I
right?
love
I
Harry
love
Potter.
Harry
The movies
Potter.
aren't amazing. Like, yeah.
I would have had, of all the Harry Potter-esque stories, I probably would have had Fantastic Beasts as my favorite. That's one that I own. Because I like all the critters.
I
And I
love
like the American characters.
Newt Scamander. I don't like where they took the second movie for sure.
No,
One is
no,
good.
no. I'm talking about the original one, not the sequel.
Yeah.
As soon as Johnny Depp came into it, that was the end of it for me. I just like the first movie.
You're a real hater on Johnny Depp. I didn't know that.
Oh, absolutely. The guy's pointless.
Wow.
His early career was really brilliant. After that, after he got famous, he started dialing it in. He ruined Pirates of the Caribbean series.
Pirates of
The Caribbean is great.
Yes, it is. The first two, maybe three. But after a while,
The first Pirates of the Caribbean is a fantastic movie.
yes,
and Johnny Depp does a really great job in it.
absolutely. I'm talking about the sequel.
No,
when he started
the second
getting
one's
into
okay.
and I'm saying is when he started, the franchises of that got less and less interesting. But the very first one, the first Pirates, that could be on my list. That's definitely a contender.
Yeah.
I got mad by the third movie. Like, oh, you just want my money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people felt that way, and they still gave their money. I'm like, because they didn't want to miss out on having the series.
I stopped.
Yep.
So, anyway.
Well.
Fun times, guys.
That was a fun discussion. If you guys are listening and want to throw in your 2 cents or tell us your favorite movies, I would love to hear other people's favorite movies. I just like talking about movies and reading about movies and watching movies. So please tell us yours because that would be awesome.
Yep.
How do they tell us? Is there a comment section?
Yeah, or email us or comment on us. Wherever. Okay. You know how to get in touch with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Awesome.
Bye.
All right. See you later.
Bye.